Hey everybody, my name is Tabitha and this is my drafting table project for 1433. Okay, so here are two renderings that I made. You can see in each of these um, there's different table heights. So this one's steeper than this one. I'll explain more of that later. Here is my flat layout and some of my experimentation with my pivoting system right here, figuring out all the math for how deep to cut the pivoting slots and everything. I'll show you more of these later after you can see how it fits together more. Okay, so basically I took the design parameters pretty literally and I didn't even use any hardware for my table. So everything is attached by wood joinery. You could glue it if you wanted to. It'd kind of defeat the purpose of it being easily assembled and movable and just cool. uh, so let me show you how this fits together. Let's start with the table. Okay, so I've got my two pieces that make up the body, like the legs and everything. Where are you, the green dots? There we go. See how those slots fit into each other? Okay, that forms the base of my table. Why aren't you pivoting? There we go. Base of the table is actually pretty simple. Then you've got this board right here, which is the board that will let us rotate things. I don't know why that is behaving that way. And then this just sits on top. That's the tabletop. I'm having a hard time moving it right now, but I'll show you in the assembly. Let's just go ahead with this. This is the stool right here. So you see we have that idea. I have the shorter piece up front for two reasons. Well, one of them I just ran out of material and it still works with that piece being shortened up. Another one is when you're sitting at your desk, you know, sometimes it's nice to just kind of like have more leg room even under your chair. You know, you don't want it to come up against a wall there. So that leaves a little bit of space right where you'd be sitting. Okay, we've got these pins that come in here. And these hold the stool together better. You know, you're going to be moving your stool around a lot, whereas the table, it'll be fine. You know, you just sit it up somewhere, it's fine. But you need a little something extra to hold the stool together. Other than hold it together better, they also support this surface, kind of the ottoman storage area. And here we have our stool top. And everything fits together nicely so that, you know, your stool top, even though it isn't attached to anything, it's not going to be sliding around, you know. It's locked in like a puzzle. Okay, so we have our main storage in the stool, you know. You got to hide some money, put it in there. But if you got pencils you just don't want rolling around while you're drafting, you can put them right here. I have a drafting table at home actually, and it's got a nice like arc thing attached to the end, and it's the best. So when I knew we had to do this project, I was like, I have to make some kind of storage at the front of the table right here. Okay, let's go to the layout. Now that you've seen it get put together, maybe the layout will make more sense. Okay, that's the layout again. You see I've got my pieces for the stool here, 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 here. There's the stool top, there's the stool storage. Stool actually took a lot of material. The desk is pretty simple. All I really have is these four larger pieces right here, and then the desktop and the slot. You can see these look kind of funny because the fillets that I have in there, you know, these nice fillets. They aren't applied yet, you know. I applied those when I modeled it. I just projected from this drawing. Okay, let's go and look at how my pivoting system works. Alrighty, so I have this constrained so that it pivots. In real life, it wouldn't pivot, you'd just pick it up because it's not attached. I just have it that way because it's easier to show in a model. Here's my desk slot. So right here we have the shallowest angle for the table. Woo! Okay. Next we have I have to be careful with this. Ooh. Okay, well, there you go. We have an angle like this. Okay, now we can do those angles again, except we can turn this around. You notice how this surface right here would come up here, making this slat, in a sense, at its shortest configuration, whereas if I turn it around, just flip it over, gotta have the touch. Flip it over, that's the highest. It's about 45 degrees. So basically there are 4 angles to this table, 2 for each slot, and then I'll go ahead and show you the 4th one. And then we have the table being used just as a writing desk. And I thought this was nifty when I figured out how to do this. This little desk slat has a place that you can store it when you aren't using it. So it just fits in there flatly right under the desktop. You aren't going to lose it or anything. Alright, so this is how I figured out these desk angles. Basically, I made some drawings of the profile of the table in AutoCAD. These 2 dots up here represent different differentiations in my desk slat. You know, this little angle right there. Ooh, where'd you go? There you go. And these little stair steps represent, I think it's like inch increments or something. I can't remember of how deep these can go. I have them on the front end because that's where the table touches this line right here. You know that. Okay, well. So what I basically did was I tried out a couple different things. You know, I was like, okay, I'll have these 2 this far apart, and then I will have this 4 notches down, 4 notches down, this many notches down, this many notches down. And then I just drew my lines from the pivot point. And then here, it's little, well, there you go. I see these are the angles that I came out with when I ran that. 3 inches variation. You know, I wrote my notes, wrote down my angles, and then I did it again. I think this one, the only difference is that it's 1 notch more down. I was happier with these angles. I think these are the ones I ended up using because they were more evenly spread out. We got 12, 11, and 11 again. There you go. Here's one of my other layouts. This one actually had a bigger tabletop, but it didn't have a piece in front like this. It attached in the back and then it came forward, and I just decided that was way too wobbly and I couldn't do that. So I opted to have, you know, the minimum tabletop requirement and I came up with this layout right here. Okay, so as you can see, I have a table that has 4 different heights, has storage, meets the requirements, doesn't use any wood glue or screws or hardware either. That's pretty much it. Let's look at these one more time. Basically, when I was planning the finish for this table, I was just looking at some stuff online of how to finish furniture, and I just really noticed that I liked the really clean look of white paint with wood, like when people paint a dresser and they'll paint it all white, but then they'll leave the natural wood grain on the drawers or the top of the dresser. I thought that was really pretty. I also noticed this style people would use with plywood, where they expose the edges and then they paint the rest of it. And it can really work with even cheap plywood, because when you sand down the edges really nice and just let those stripes show off, it can have a nice style to it. You're kind of working with what you have. And then I just left the top spare, you know. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So, thank you.